Welcome to the Electric Playground. Today on the show, we discuss the latest on Batman Arkham Knight in the rundown.
Plus, we've got a closer behind-the-scenes look at Avengers Age of Ultron.
How could you be worthy? You're all puppets.
And then we have more Avengers action with a review of the new film.
Anybody remember when I carried a nuke through a wormhole?
No, never come up.
Save New York?
Never heard that.
Recall that?
Also coming up, we take a look at the new Netflix series Bloodline. Scott takes us on a pursuit of light and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. And the only thing I love more than toppling dictators and taking down supervillains is bringing you the rundown. Just Cause 3 is taking the destructive mayhem to a whole new level. Take a look at the first gameplay footage from the new open-world action extravaganza. It showcases some of the intense, over-the-top destruction that you'll be able to cause as you're toppling a brutal dictator on a Mediterranean island. And it looks like things will be even more insane than Just Cause 2. The biggest new feature is the wingsuit, which allows you to soar through the air, causing all kinds of trouble from above. And you can also hijack jets and other aircraft mid-air. Thankfully, the grapple hook from the previous game is back. Just Cause 3 will land this holiday season. Batman is going to get by with a lot more help from his friends in his next big game. Warner Brothers and Rocksteady Studios have unveiled the new dual play mode for Batman Arkham Knight. It will allow players to switch back and forth between Batman and his allies, Robin, Nightwing, and Catwoman during combat, which will allow you to make use of each character's unique fighting styles and moves. The mode has a lot in common with the character switching mechanic in Grand Theft Auto 5 and should make it that much easier to clean up the streets of Gotham. Batman Arkham Knight arrives June 23rd. Warner Brothers has also announced that the game will have a $40 season pass. They promise that it will give you 6 months of DLC after the game's release, but that's still a hefty price compared to the season passes for most other games. Wow, next-gen gaming has arrived officially. Here to help me talk about all of this stuff that we're very excited about is my pal Scott Jones.
I can't believe you can even make sense right now. I have seen you excited.
Yes.
I've seen you excited many times over the last few years. You are super excited.
It's coming. I mean, it's very, very imminent. These releases look incredible. I think Avalanche is going to knock it out of the park with Just Cause. I think they did a great job with Just Cause 2. All of that crazy, happenstance of gameplay that they had. I mean, you could do all kinds of things with the physics in that title. And this looks like it's been elevated to preposterous levels. I can't wait to play this game.
That's always been the fun of the game, is you sort of build your own kind of contraptions out of all the stuff in the world. It is kind of an erector set or a Lego set of sorts. This time you get some sort of fly-around suit. It's the same kind of thing all the snowboarders had in EA's last SSX game. You put that thing on and apparently you don't have to touch the ground if you don't want to.
Wingsuits are cool. They used them in Transformers 3.
Is your wingsuit working?
No, I never have tried on my wingsuit.
I'd like to see you in a wingsuit.
I would not like to go splat into the side of something. I'm very excited about Just Cause 3, but I'm even more excited about Batman Arkham Knight.
I said this to you when we were watching the trailer. I said, this looks better than the movie trailer. And maybe it's not fair to compare the two. Rocksteady has been very comfortable in the driver's seat with the Batman for years now.
And the Batmobile this time.
This time, the world is so expansive. It goes in every direction. There's all these characters in there. I want to play this game.
I know, but they've been delaying it, and so, now we're starting to hear that you can play as different characters at the same time, sort of tapping in, tapping out with these different characters, which look cool, but it feels like it may be laboring a little bit with too many things. That's my only kernel of worry that I have. The other thing that is obviously apparent with this is that Warner Brothers and Rocksteady have got the machine together on how they're going to parse out extra content. I've liked all of the DLC that's come with the Arkham games so far.
$40 though, that's a lot of money.
Well, to sort of attach yourself to this thing for a long time. I feel like these titles are so massive that we're not going to see another Batman game of this ilk, I think, for a long time, that they want to keep us in this universe for a while.
Even bigger than this, though, I feel like these two games are clear signs that the next gen is here now. These are super high fidelity, high resolution, explosive, huge worlds. I love this. This is great news.
2015 is incredible, and here is something else that's making this year incredible. We're going behind the scenes on the Avengers.
You want to protect the world? but you don't want it to change.
S.H.I.E.L.D. has fallen since the last Captain America, so now we're all relying on one another. There's really no one to report to, so it's this loose hierarchy. They're leaning on one another as soldiers. There's no one person giving commands. We're operating as a true group now.
The Avengers were supposed to be different than S.H.I.E.L.D.
Anybody remember when I carried a nuke through a wormhole?
No, it's never come up.
Save New York?
Never heard that.
Recall that? A hostile alien army came charging through a hole in space. We're standing 300 feet below it.
There's certainly a unity that they're all formed now and is solid. Thor sees a bigger picture of the current conflict that's going on. There's the initial battle which they're involved in, but Thor uses his Asgardian knowledge and starts to tap into some otherworldly possibilities and threats that he thinks are coming.
Where I think Natasha had a stealthier, or the Avengers in general had this kind of stealthy approach, and S.H.I.E.L.D. certainly had that. Now we're being judged in a different way. Everybody is watching us.
We covered a lot of ground of establishing who these guys were in the first one, so we were able to really dig down much deeper into who they are when they're relaxed, when they're familiar with each other. That's when people really start to sparkle.
So if I lift it, I then rule Asgard?
Yes, of course.
There's all this unfinished business. There's the matter of a certain wormhole that opened over New York and the imminent threat that still implies. So Tony has turned his attentions more toward a bit of a post-Reagan era Star Wars type notion, and he likes to call it Ultron.
How could you be worthy? You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
Ultron becomes a self-created being, really, as he continues to advance and develop and evolve and so on. I think his perception probably of the world as a Tony Stark is the absolute defining personification of what is wrong with the world today.
Are you even pulling?
Are you on my team?
Just represent, pull.
All right, let's go.
Obviously, everyone's a professional and been at this for several years now and know their roles really well. So it is fun to be the bigger group now and figure out how we work together as a team with these new elements that are in there now.
I asked Marvel to compile like a Bible of all of the issues that were centered around her. And it's just unbelievable the amount of material she has to draw from.
It was definitely a daunting kind of feeling to kind of come on set with all of the Avengers, because for the majority of the cast, they're third or fourth film, you know, so they're very comfortable with the way that they want to portray their characters. But that was taken away pretty quickly when you meet the guys. Everyone's super friendly and, you know, down to earth, and it's very grounded set.
It's the end of the path I started us on.
There's a great communal friendship between us all. And we have great memories together of things that we've done. We're all like really good friends. We have a nice fraternity of Marvelites.
In this one, we're together a lot, which is great for us, terrible for Joss, because it's tough to wrangle 10 crazy actors that love each other and just want to talk. It's like a kindergarten class. It's really, he literally has to whistle to get our attention.
I think people will get to know the characters more, but they'll also get to see some special effects that haven't been done before, meet some new characters, which are really fascinating and layered and interesting. I think it'll just be another really great time at the theater.
There are no strings on me.
We've seen the movie already, and we've got the review coming up later in the show.
My favorite part was when Captain America and the Hulk kiss.
Oh, no.
They made love.
No, they don't.
And listen, we've got a review of the new Netflix show Bloodline coming up with you and Marissa after this.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
I got your back, mister. Just hope you got mine.
Welcome back to EP Daily. There's a new TV show called Bloodline starring Coach Eric Taylor. He's Marissa's favorite football coach. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Is the new show Bloodline all about football? Is Taylor kitsched in it? And will Marissa like it? The answer is probably yes, she will.
It's not just Daredevil that has us glued to Netflix these days. We've also been binging on Bloodline. This is the new show that stars Kyle Chandler, who we are both fans of.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a big cast in here. Linda Cardellini is in here,
Yeah.
Sam Shepard, Sissy Spacek. That's about enough. Those are huge names, and those should give you enough reasons to tune in.
God damn it, you don't give up on family.
The plot will suck a lot of people in because of everyone's family dynamic.
Yeah.
We all have a different family dynamic for sure, but there's usually one person in the family that is that black sheep.
Yes, and this is a family that's led by a patriarch played by Sam Shepard, who has built this empire, this retreat for people to go to.
Yes, in the Florida Keys.
Yes, so it's a beautiful location, and the show starts off with Sam Shepard just sort of always plucking away on his ukulele, but right away we start to see that there's some dark overtones. There's a lot of anger and hostility towards Danny, the oldest son, played by Ben Mendelsohn, who is really fantastic in this show. He's the standout, right?
He for sure is a standout, but he's so great because of how evil he is and like just the sinister mind that he has.
But he's so broken, which is such an interesting element of this thing, is that it's so easy to paint these characters with one shade, but everybody is very real.
I got your back, mister. Just hope you got mine.
It's a very slow burn. It takes a long time for the real big parts of the drama to start happening. There are murders that are happening that Kyle Chandler, who's playing this detective, is trying to solve and figure out. And you think, and you invest in him and his character as he's the virtuous one. And then you start to see that maybe that wasn't always the case with him. And
he makes bad decisions as well.
Yeah.
The same with Linda Cardellini's character,
absolutely.
because she wants to please everyone as well, but in doing so, she ends up hurting herself, which I think is reflective to a lot of women and families like that, for sure. They feel like they need to be this person that pleases everyone.
You want to spend time with these Rayburns, and it's really just about the performances and the breathing with this family. They're an interesting group of characters, and it's expertly written, I think, like really well devised. And the performances are so natural and nuanced and fulfilling, and we can definitely put ourselves into the shoes and feel familiar with this kind of family dynamic. We all go through stuff like this.
Absolutely, we all go through it, and then we all think about how it affects the people around us as well, the people that are watching our family, and everyone is watching the Rayburns because they have this amazing resort that people are jealous of, but then you realize
perfect life.
I'll feel a whole lot better when all my children are together in one place.
I think that the show has a lot of potential, especially with next seasons if they actually release them, which I think they will.
Yeah.
It has a lot of potential to be something more, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's a sleeper and it's a winner. I'm giving it an 8.5. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's an 8.
Well, Bloodline is back there, but up ahead there's a new movie starring Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and what's this? James Spader, of course. It's the Avengers Age of Ultron. The review is after the break.
All right, so if I lift it, I then rule Asgard?
Yes, of course.
EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Dragon Mania Legends, which you can play for free right now.
Pocket time again, everybody. Today I'm taking a look at a game for your iPhone and or iPad called Pursuit of Light, of Light, of Light, of Light. Has a very dramatic title, and the way it works is very simple. It's one of these iPhone games that looks easy to play, that's self-evident. You don't really need any instructions here. You're basically trying to get the little symbol for light on the far right-hand side of the screen, and you need to jump from platform to get to the light. There are no controls the way that a traditional video game has controls. Instead, what you have to do is you see those two symbols on the screen. You have to tap one, then the other, depending on what the symbol is underneath the platforms that you're trying to jump to. I know I just found a very complicated way to explain something that is terribly simple. And, you know, as usual, I got a little bit seduced by the challenge here. I wanted to get to the next level. I wanted to see what was coming up next. But after a while, even that wore off. This is only a couple of bucks. You don't have to spend too much money here. Depending on your point of view, this might be something you enjoy. I'm a little indifferent towards it. My score reflects that. It's a 5 out of 10.
Interesting.
Patronizing achievement, bloop, bloop, unlocked.
Listen, we have seen the Age of Ultron, and this type of experience deserves not 1, not 2, but 3 critics.
Here's the Hulk, Cap, and Lil Weasel. And by the way, Marmar, Lil Weasel's you, with the review.
Marmar.
Superbird.
So if I lift it, I then rule Asgard?
Yes, of course.
We thought we'd do something different, use this area here because of the global nature of the movie we're reviewing, the Avengers Age of Ultron. Ever heard of that?
We're also assembling, all 3 of us together.
Oh, very nice.
Avengers Assemble. We need to say that Vic was very excited about this. He was the most excited of all of us.
I couldn't sleep last night, all right? So I've been excited. I couldn't wait to see this movie. I love the first Avengers, obviously. I'm a huge Marvel movie fan. Joss Whedon has publicly come out and said that this thing nearly killed him. making this movie. He's walking away. So this is a Joss Whedon dropping the mic kind of a movie. And honestly, after seeing it, it's hard to think of what else they could have done to paint a bigger or better picture with these characters in this franchise.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly a little concerned about how Marvel tops itself in any fashion after this.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the problem going forward.
Yes.
Is this is such a landmark, exhaustive, comprehensive experience that what do you do now?
You're smarter than her. You're Bruce Banner.
Where you go, you get some new characters here. I'm not telling you who they are. You'll find out when you go see the film, and you get a lot of action, you get a lot of explosions, there are a lot of fights, and you get a great villain. And I think we really didn't have one, and that was part of the problem with the only vague problem. I loved the first Avengers, but here you get James Spader as Ultron, and Ultron, I didn't know this going in, you're the comic book reader here, but Ultron is just an AI that somehow manifests as, I don't want to tell you, he manifests as kind of a robot.
How could you be worthy? You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
James Spader, my God, how he is so, like, he's just power. His voice is just power.
He has a great voice, you're right.
Oh, man, it's going to sit with me for a long time, just the way he reigns over everyone with this villainous, boisterous voice that he has. It's,
you
it's
can't
so
imagine
great.
anybody else
he
doing that.
does an incredible job in that.
There are no strings on me.
And that's also a core thematic element in this picture, is this distrust that everybody has with these machines that are coming to life. And after all of this carnage and destruction that Ultron and his machines have rained down on Earth already.
There's some carnage.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. And obviously this is an effects-driven movie, and as all of the Marvel films have been, but when you put them all together on screen, you have to accelerate and you have to turn it into something that is just so much more of a spectacle than your mind can even deal with. And there are so many moments like that, but I think one of the best crystallizing effects here is the real transformation of Ruffalo as the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
And the facial stuff that they've done with the Hulk.
It does kind of feel at different junctures as you're watching the film that it's obviously part animated film, also part live action as well. You know, the first film, one of the other problems was when Loki intentionally got himself trapped and then had to find his way out. And there were some cliches that didn't feel fresh.
What?
I wasn't thinking about any other movie. I wasn't thinking about scenes I'd seen in other movies. I wasn't hearing dialogue that I'd heard before. I wasn't having any echoes from pop culture around me. I was just in the moment of this movie from scene to scene. And I think that's very hard to do for a big entertainment movie like this. And I think Joss Whedon deserves all the credit.
He really does. I will say that Scarlett Johansson, every time she steps in front of the camera, she impresses me more and more. She's such an incredibly commanding actor. She's got to hold her own against the Hulk of all creations. And I think she totally does.
All of the Avengers. And I still walked away from this thing feeling like I was Scarlett Johansson, like feeling like I stepped away and I felt super powerful, just like she is in the movie. And that's what I want. That's what I want out of a female superhero. And I wish that she had more attention, but then I was thinking about it while I was watching this movie, especially when she had her flashback. Wow, this would really make a cool story. Just to have her, Natasha Romanoff, just to have a story of her.
We need that Black Widow movie.
We need it, but then I started thinking, well, I don't know if anybody would go see it. Maybe I'm just the only one that wants this. It's tough to say. Why haven't they made this yet?
You know, the other thing that I kind of wanted to get out of the way, or my only concern going into this movie, was that Birdman would be so strong in my mind to see all these actors who are so talented just doing their superhero thing.
I was wondering which Avenger you were calling Birdman there for a second.
I mean, I'm just all of them.
He's talking about the
you know what I'm saying, though? You know, I know there's one called Fly Around Man, one's called Hawkman. I'm learning the names. But, you know, like, I didn't think about Birdman even once. And I just thought, you know, I just was thinking of them as the characters that they are in the movie. I wasn't thinking, oh, Robert Downey Jr. is kind of old now. The fact that I wasn't having any of those digressions in my mind
he is Iron Man, right?
Is a testament to the work that they've done here. This is great. It's very dark, much darker than I thought it would be, much darker than the first film.
I felt like I went through something. That was an incredible film. I mean, it was just a fantastic movie all the way around.
I'm just happy that it's selling out for the right reason.
No 3D. Don't see it in 3D. If you can see it in 2D, go for it. What are you going to give it?
Gets a 9.
Gets a 10 for me. What are you giving it?
8.5.
Loved it.
Whoa, that was something. Yeah, Jones is speechless. Okay, let's give him a minute.
Fixed down. Paramedics.
Okay, when we come back, Twitter.
Live, bitch!
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Welcome back to the Electric Playground. It is time for the Twitter question of the day. This one is from Mr. Osborne at Phantom RC Driver. Any chance a premium version of current-gen consoles will come out with backwards compatibility? Still love last-gen games. Great comment.
Yeah.
Good question.
Let's go over it again.
Yes.
He wants a premium version of the Xbox One, PS4, or the Wii U. Yeah. And it's going to be a super version that is backwards compatible, but also have some...
Wii U is backwards compatible.
That one is... Boom! That's right. But the chances of this happening, and I've checked with my Las Vegas odds makers, they're zero. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, everybody's kind of moving to this digital streaming kind of space. Yeah. You know, the success of Netflix. I think that PlayStation Now is doing pretty good for PlayStation. We're going to start to see more streaming services that access back catalog like that. We don't know when, but you can stay tuned to epn.tv to find out.
And listen, coming up on our next episode, it is May the 4th, and we're going to celebrate with a full report from a galaxy far, far away. Thanks for watching, everybody.
We'll see you then. EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox.
Now, for those who might not be familiar with Star Wars Commander, can you explain a little bit about the game itself and how it's different than any other Star Wars game out there?
Star Wars Commander is a combat strategy game where you start out on Tatooine as a smuggler, but you build up your base, and eventually you have to choose a side. You're going to fight for the Rebellion or the Empire, and then you rise through the ranks to become a battlefield commander. It's a free-to-play game available on mobile devices, so you can play on your iPad, your iPhone, your Android phone or tablet, and on Windows.
Your actions were noted, mercenary. The Empire would find your skills useful.